So in this video, we actually gonna look at how we generate the frequency distribution for the categorical data. So here we are working on the first column called rating. So rating. And so what we will do is we want to create a frequency distribution for rating. So first thing you need to do is try to figure out, okay, how many unique classes we have for rating. Since this class's rating is based on the using the ordinal scale measurement. So therefore, the class order is very important. So look at the rating. We totally have 5 different classes. So from the terrible to excellent. So therefore, we're going to follow this order to list our rating. So one thing I mentioned in the class that is that you have to copy and paste the class name to your class name under the frequency distribution. The reason is because sometimes when people entering the data, they might put the space in the in the original data entry, so you might not be able to see it. So in order to match the original data entry, so we try to copy and paste the class name under the rating. So again, the worst rating here is terrible. So then we find the column called the item. So the entry is a terrible, and we copy and then paste. And then we do the same thing for the rest. Obviously, you should know the shortcut on your keyboard. Control C is cut, and Control P is the paste, right? So the after terrible is poor. And then the next one is average. And then the next one is very good. And then the last one is excellent. And after that, we type in total. Because as I said in the class, so we want to understand how many sample size we have. So we need this total because later when we calculate relative and percent frequency, we need this total. So let's look at the formula we're using. So the formula we're using is called equal count if, and then parentheses. And so you have 2 entries. So the first entry is called range. So actually it's the data you're going to select pretty soon. So keep in mind no label should be included for the range. And the second entry here is the criteria. So basically it's the name of the class. So that is the class you try to figure out their frequency. So for the first cell under the F column here, we try to get a frequency for terribles. Therefore, the second entry here will be the cell E2 because E2 is where I place the name of the class. Okay, let's select the range first, which is our data. So once you type count if parentheses, and then you go to the where the data located. So it's on the E2, sorry, A2, from A2 to A650. So A2 to, let me go down. Okay, so I select from A2 to A650, A2 to A650, and then comma, and then we're going to select terrible. And then you can close the parenthesis. Before you push enter, I want to emphasize we are using the drag down function. When you are using drag down function, my second entry here will keep updating. And so therefore you have to keep in mind that when we drag down, we actually don't want my first entry, my data set change. So what we're gonna do is we place the mouse in front of A and 2, find F4 on your keyboard. So if you are F4 on your keyboard, some keyboard they are relatively like a compact. So you actually find the function key and push F4. So 2 options. If you push F4 on your keyboard, and you'll get a $sign. That's pretty cool. If you push F4, it doesn't give you a $sign. That means your keyboard is a compact version. So you have to find Fn, so called function key, push function key, and push F4. So that's 2 different computers. By default, your computer should work. Just find F4 on your keyboard. If you have a compact keyboard, which means if you push F4, nothing changed, you have to find the function key. And as you push the function key, then along with the function key, you push F4, and you should be able to see the $sign added. So now we will do the same thing for A650. So now first thing you need to do is to make sure your mouse, so the blinking point has to in front of A and the 650 or even between A and the 650. So this blinking should not locate at A2, okay? So now after I move my mouse to the in front of A650, make sure the blinking sign is in front of A and 650, and then I push F4. So now you can see I put $sign in both A and 650 again. So after you did that, then you can push Enter. So I got 41. So now we actually can use the drag down function. So let's do it. So move the mouse to the right down corner and then drag it down. Okay, so I finished the rest. I want to show you how this worked. So let's say look at average. You can see that the first entry never changed because I put a $sign. So the only thing changed is the second entry. And so as before is E2, now become E4 because this row is the fourth row. So therefore this update to E4. And so this is how you get frequency very quickly. And also we will be able to calculate the sample size. So the formula we're using is sum and parentheses. And then what you're going to do is just select everything you have ahead of this cell. So basically you sum all the frequency for each class together. So you should get your sample size 649. So this is how you are able to get our frequency distribution given the data is a categorical data. And so hopefully this video is helpful. And in the next video, we're going to look at given the relative frequency distribution, how you're going to convert to relative frequency and percent frequency distribution.